Hello and welcome to Access Some Places. I've got four hands. This is a very temp redux of the podcast. Long-time listeners would know it looks a bit different than usual. We're going through. I'm work in progress. Not going to do an intro today. Maybe there will be one before this that's been edited in, or it's going to be now. But no music like usual. As I said, that'll come. But I'll just do it now. That's the intro. We're at Access Some Places. I have my special guest here, currently in a different form. We're actually going to ring him in because I didn't ring him in because I wanted to see what things looks like. So, bringing in now my guest, and I will let him introduce himself from the start. Whilst I have a unmarked drink. I don't know if this has even worked. It hasn't, has it? You can't see anything.
I can see white screen.
You're not supposed to see white screen. Wait, this will work. There we go. All right, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, it's your boy, Jesus, back at it again. My name's Isaac. I follow North Melbourne. I struggle at Supercoach, and I'm good mates with Josh, and I'm just here to talk shit about footy. Let's get into it.
Yeah, welcome to Access Some Places. I already did my my intro before, or attempted intro, so don't have to worry about that. Do you like your? I like what you wore today. It's a nice shirt. Good watch.
Thank you. I don't know what I'll be superimposed onto, but my mum picked it out for me.
I hope you'll be able to see this one. If you can't, then I don't need to bother at the screen.
Don't worry
So that's all right. So I'm gonna close this down here. We all do this live. Right, yeah. So today, the itinerary for today is we're going to try and mix it up on the regular Supercoach content because it was a little bit dry, and only 10 people knew what I was talking about. It's not gone. Don't worry, everybody at home. We'll still get some updates on maybe some cash cows and shit like that to see how that goes down the line. See where the awareness of time is before we get a Spotify deal, or how I get this on Spotify audio wise. I'm going to leave that up to you because it's going to be a lot easier. I have actually superimposed you on top of Lloydie, so you'll be good to see that. I'm in Damo
Hey, my body's better than Lloyd's anyway.
Oh, but can you kick as well in front of a plasma?
Great left.
So where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the games and minutes of like 2 minutes or 30 seconds per person per team?
Yeah, I reckon we start with the Sydney Saints game.
Yeah, well, let me just bring up my little bit of extra magic. There we go. So, Sydney Saints. The Saints won by, how many points is that? 14? Saints by 14. As you can see here, you'll be able to see it in post. But as you'll be able to see here.
I can see. Yeah, and Sydney up at 3/4 time.
Yep. So how would you think, how's Sydney going this year?
Well, look, there's one player in particular I'm interested in on Sydney, and he's been done in this week. I'll tell you that. I've traded him in, and goodness me, he was putting up some good numbers for the first 2 quarters, and then this bastard Butler. I can't believe he's gotten no weeks for what he's done to my boy.
Yeah, Butler got off.
Butler's free, and he's the one that bloody did it. Blakey got his head slammed to the ground, and I'm not happy. He passed the concussion test, which I'm glad, and means he'll be able to play the following week. But he had a bit of a sore toe, so they kept him off. Other than that, Sydney's looking good. They've got a decent strength to their side. They can't get it done away from home, but we'll see how they go.
I reckon Sydney stink. I think we're off to a fly here. I think Sydney stink. I think they're off the deep end. I think Buddy's got to retire. I think that there's just no Blakey's good. Sure, their midfield's all right, but I reckon the academy have got too old. They need a new their set of wheels. You can't beat the Saints. I'm going to set the sort of his timer here. So now I'm going to jump over the Saints here. The Saints are also lost at sea, and they've beaten the Swans at the SCG at Buddy's 350th. It's 350th, 250th. I don't care. They fucking lost. And the Saints, 350th. The Saints are out at sea. Sinclair is an absolute jet. If you got him in Supercoach like I do, then you'd know that he's a jet.
Absolutely, the gun.
At least they kick more goals than points, which is better we can say from the Swans. That game was fucking garbage too. It was a Thursday. Thursday night footy was back, and we got served up that crap.
It was. It was relatively low scoring. A bit of a twist to the end with St Kilda getting up. My boy Nasiah, he did very well that game. 30 disposals, 20 kicks, 10 handballs, 9 marks, and a goal. And I'm happy about it.
So you're happy there. Yeah, as for the Saints, I don't think they. Oh, they might make finals. I don't know if they'll completely sink as much as I believe they do, but they
I
will
don't
get
see who
popped
goes
over.
above them. I
The
really
Dons.
think that the Dons.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're already above the Saints or not. I'm gonna check the ladder.
You're sitting on the equal points, but they've got
Yeah,
you
we'll
in
jump you.
percentage. It's pretty close.
We'll
but,
jump the Saints for sure.
But I don't see the
But
Doggies or the Crows getting over the Saints.
maybe the
Really.
Crows. I reckon the Saints will slip into 8. That would be my hard read for the rest of the year. That the Saints are going to drop into 8.
I
The
got some words
D's.
about the Crows, but I'll save them.
Yeah. What's that? I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I reckon the Saints will drop to 8. So we left 30 seconds left on the Saints, so we're going to keep that, and we're going to go straight into our next game if this is going to work with some movie magic. Yes, awesome. Dogs Port. I don't think I watched this game.
I watched it with the boys.
Yeah.
Relatively entertaining. I'll start with Zach Butters, phenomenal player. Wish I had him in my side. Just like great to watch, class, gets the ball, lives it well. But the
I hate the
dogs,
dogs.
man.
Fuck the dogs. If we're doing a 2-minute section, roughly 2 minute, at least 2 minute section per team, I'm going to use this time to say I fucking hate the dogs. They're a unlikable bunch of blokes, and they just, as what I saw them there, I didn't see much. I like Tamara Ugelhagen. That's, you can't not like that kid.
Ugolagan?
Yeah, love
Yeah,
the hamster cam.
He is brilliant. Get your motherfucking hamsters out. I just want a quick segue to Arthur Jones.
Artie Jones, the donut boy. Is
Donut galore. He
Put
got
up.
no disposals and 6 tackles. He had the pressure, but he just couldn't get his hands on the bloody thing.
He would get his hands on the ball, ended up putting up donuts. We gave him the donut award. That's the second award that the boys have given to a player. Artie Jones. Artie just completely lost.
If there's 2 players that I would immediately drop from the Dogs, it would be Josh Bruce and Liam Jones. I can't stand watching them play.
So
The amount of uncontested spoils they would give, infuriating.
it's shocking.
Just grab the fucking thing.
I reckon put Josh Bruce back at the forward line and count your chickens, count your puppies, and move on. And just sack Liam Jones. I don't even know who he is, and I just reckon sack him. As for time done, we are going to Port now. How good's Charlie Dixon?
Oh, big dicks.
Aquaman.
He had a quiet one, but just how many goals he kicked?
I don't know.
That's
4.
4 goals?
I know is that he kicked the first goal in 19 seconds and won my first goal scorer budget. So that's, if you want some hot tips, he set the tone for the night. If you want some hot tips for some gambling, Charlie Dixon, first goal scorer market, one of the few in this league that's, chuck a 10 on it every time and you'll get paid. As for the rest of the team, Butters playing for Port. That's what you were saying before, right? Zach Butters?
yeah, mate. He was a phenomenon that night, really.
Yeah.
No one could touch him. He was just clear out of the centre, just great to watch. 6 inside 50s. It's just great team player, and they just let him run, and it's fucking great to watch.
And how did Mummy's boy Jason Horne-Francis go? Did he have a good one? I think he had an okay game.
He didn't have as much impact as he wanted. It's really hard to tell him apart from Bergman though. So I think one of them did well, but no, he ended up with 13 disposals. He snagged 2 big ones, and I think that's pretty good for the man. He's still developing. He's got that strong body. He's got that explosiveness, and it's just he's doing all right. I just
in saying that as well,
I wish I saw him on the slide on the weekend though, but he's just averse to ice.
Yeah, as well as that, I also get confused with him and Darcy Burn-Jones because they've both got like 3-syllable names. So
Yes.
I always get a bit confused with that. But anyway, moving on. We now go to the next game, which is Hawks Lions. Whoops, there's my alarm gone. I timed it perfectly before. Hawks Lions. The bloody Hawks got up.
Fucking how about him?
As I said, as I was telling you, there's a bloke, Michael, his name is, I'll name him. We were at the pub and he had his Hawks kit underneath his shirt until the last minute and a half when they were home, and then he took the kit out, and he got a bit of a go the Hawkers from the crowd. Yeah, I said I saw bits of this and I was shocked to see the Lions drop it. Who stood out for the Hawks? Bloody Chad Wingard? Did Wingard have a good game? Is he injured? Is he even playing? The Chad?
Where did the Chad? I don't think the Chad was playing.
Where did he go? Where's he gone?
The Chad was not playing.
He's a truck anyway. He's a pretty handsome man, but he's a
dropped
truck.
136 Supercoach points. Sicily.
Oh,
I
Sicily.
reckon right now, if we're going to talk Supercoach for a little second,
Yeah.
I think it might be prime time to sell the big man.
Are you talking about the classic Supercoach?
Classic Supercoach, yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, if you've got him in draft, he might be. I think he's in classic. Might be time to sell him. I think that's my tip of the classic week. But
tip of the classic week is sell Sicily.
Sell Sicily high, because I don't know if he's going to be able to do that performance every week from now.
Well, he also fucking murdered McLuggage, so.
I think he might be getting a couple of weeks, right?
He's getting a couple of weeks. He snapped McLuggage's neck backwards and forwards even. You can't snap like that man's neck was like when you hold like a string of cheese together and then let go of it and then it stings back up. That was awful. Oh, yeah, as I said, that next pint I drank was hard to go down when I was watching McLuggage's neck bounce back up. And then he walked off that big ground. So Sicily's getting a couple of weeks. So definitely sell him because he's not going to be playing for a couple of weeks.
That's it. Imagine McLuggage trying to get down a drink after that.
Yeah, exactly. You just go right down his noodle neck. As for getting it down his noodle neck, what happened to the Lions? Yeah, they've copped the bird penis, copped it, dropped themselves out of the top three playing that game. Port are running away with now, and so are Hawks. Or the Pies, because the Pies lost, and we'll get to that one. But yeah, I don't know how many goals Hip would kick. That's all I care about for these Lions. If they're going to lose to the Hawks, let's have a look. The Bone Man.
He kicked 4. He
kicked 4. Yeah, he would kick 4.
I wouldn't say it's a bag, but I wouldn't say it's nothing.
It's a bag of bones. I reckon. Yeah, I think it falls a bag of bones. I love Hipwood. We love Hipwood here at Access some places.
He had a stink up. Your boy Joe Danaher.
He's not my boy anymore. He left me.
Who's got him?
He
must be on the waivers.
I think Tisk has him actually. Yeah, no, I've got the other tall forward. Yeah, Danaher went 0-1 with the 36 Supercoach. That sucks. Coleman came on to play, and Rich came. So McLuggage just went to bed. Yeah, Dunk had a big one, 148. So and Neil dropped 100.
He's huge. That's
so what do the Lions do? They just can't win at the G. That's it.
I think that's
Game over.
I think that they've got this thing in their head where they just can't perform down in Melbourne, and I couldn't be happier.
I'll see. I don't know if the Lions are going to be able to sneak their way into a grand final, but they better hope it's not at the G, because they can't play there. Speaking of can't playing, next game, Crows or Eagles. I'm going to take the extra 30 seconds that I give the West Coast Eagles out of their 2 minutes to the Crows. So the Crows are going to get an extra a minute of game time, and the Eagles are getting a minute. So the Crows, Tex Walker kicked the fucking double bag. Would you call it a double bag if he kicks 10? I
wouldn't call it a single bag. I'll tell you that.
It's definitely not a single bag. It's one of those bags you get at the strip club at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what fucking Tex did.
Fucking huge bags on the Tex.
Oh, dropped 208 Supercoach points. The pendulum, because I've got him. Put Jacob to bed against his own mom.
He had 17 score involvements.
Yeah,
huge effect on the game.
Oh,
and I want the caveat to be, He was beating up on the absolute shittest side on the league.
he took he took a week off. He was out for the week beforehand. Took a week off so his 250th could be against them with a week, or just feasted on him. I wish the Crows went a little bit foot to throat because they did kind of slow down a little bit in the second half. I feel.
Foot to throat. They put him down by 122 points.
It could have been 200. They could have got to 200 and been like, "Yep, that's the game." They could have got to 200 points at least, and then West Coast still kicked 8 goals on them. So I think it looked like West Coast. I think were like, "Oh, hang on, they're kicking some goals." Maybe that was last week. But I just Tex kicking 10 is perfect. I just reckon that they could have kicked a couple more goals. They went 27 and 12. I'm sure those 12 points were just like slap it on the boot forward because they were up by so much. But didn't see that one. But shout out to my sister's partner because he's a West Coast fan as well, and it was his birthday. And I said, "Happy birthday! Hope the Eagles give you a good present today. Best wishes." And then at 2:00 in the morning, I texted him and said, "Soz text kick 10," and he said, "Thank you for your thoughts." So. Shout out to him because it was his birthday and he had to watch the West Coast get beaten by Tex. Just Tex. Like, West Coast kicked 8-4 and Tex kicked 10-0.
I just want to poke
10-2.
What do you reckon the difference is between the two teams? Because I'm looking at the stats here and it's not age and it's not game experience. They've both got, well, West Coast has 15 players under 100 games. Guess how many Adelaide has? 18. So it's like they've got this young talent, Adelaide, and they're fucking putting it to work. While West Coast are fucking shit.
I think the difference is that if you take an army that is raised from 13 to 18 to kill, they're going to be in a much better form than if you pick the 18 kids off the 901 bus and put them in a uniform and say, "Go fight these kids." I reckon that's the issue. I reckon there's the West Coast 18 mob are all like under 16s of WAFL players that have to play because Hearn's out and Hearn's backup's also out. So then they've got to play just some kid in the back pocket who's played 6 games of footy. And there's no youth there, so there's no actual effort there. We have run out of time for the Crows. So for the West Coast minute, you're shit. Sorry, you're shit. You just don't have a team. There's no faith. There's nothing. There's nothing going on apart from the money and Optus Stadium. And the most annoying thing is because they're such a big club, they're going to bounce back in next year. Something's going to happen. Miraculously is going to happen, and they're going to be mediocre again.
That's if the media doesn't turn on them and they get in their heads. I'll tell you a couple of things. Yo did all right, Supercoach wise. Bailey Williams absolutely shit on me. That was not fun having him on the opposition ruck. He got 131 points. Don't know how he got it. 35 touches, 35 hit outs, 20 disposals. That's a good game, but Christ, 131 for that.
That sums it up. How does he do it? Like, how do they do it? How do they even get 8 goals out of that game? But another game I didn't watch at all. Freo Tigers. Tigers got up, unfortunately.
Go the Tigers.
Freo kicked 10-10. Richmond kicked 12-13, so it's not like they did any better. But I don't know what happened in this game. Did you watch it or just?
I missed this one.
Did anyone watch this game? I don't think no one cared. I didn't care. You didn't watch it.
It's hard to care about the Tigers this year. They're just like feels like they don't have it in them anymore.
At least some of the teams that are like lost at sea, like the Saints, they had something to prove at the start of the year. And the Tigers are just like, we're bored of the Tigers. We don't care about the Tigers anymore. You've won your flags. Dusty doesn't want to be there anymore. Like, Marlon Pickett's in handcuffs. Like, we mentioned it. We were not going to mention it. We're a footy podcast. Marlon Pickett's, too busy out in Perth, robbing grocery stores.
That's it. The number keeps shifting, but it's around $400,000 for a burglary arrest.
384 associated burglary costs. You're doing it for sport. You're an AFL player. You're a good AFL player that would be getting probably $400,000 a year, maybe. What's Marlon Pickett's salary? I'm going to see if Siri knows whilst you talk about Freo. What is Marlon Pickett's salary?
So, Freo. How are we bloody going, Freo? They dropped the bag. They lost to the Tigers. They're not happy about it. You know, your boys Sarong and Brayshaw did well. Uh, no one like a miss kicked four. Good for him. Didn't get the Rising Star nomination this round. We'll talk about that later. But that's good for the young fella. Who else we got? Nat Fife actually pulled it out this game. He
Okay.
got 17 effective, well, 17 disposals, many of them effective.
Well, the
So
Tanks will be
huge.
happy about that then.
The Tanks
The
won't be
five.
happy about that because they dropped him and Tisca's picked him up.
Oh no! There's no way that he's dropped in five, so he's done something. I've just picked up an article from 2020. Dual Premiership midfielder Marlon Pickett has signed a life-changing 2-year contract extension with Richmond worth $1 million. This man's on $500K a year for the Tigs, and he's like, you know what? I got to go rob some grocery stores. Shocking, but Freo couldn't do it.
The Tigers do stand behind him, so we'll see how it goes.
That's what that sums up the Tigers to be given. Moving on to Sunday, your shin bonus.
Oh God!
Did you have a chance this game?
I think we did have a chance. I think we really had a chance. We were so close at halftime, and we've been doing this week in, week out. We we perform for the first two quarters, no matter what, and then we just hit the bed. We've got Jack Zeeble out the fucking back, just seagulling it up, like kicking it around to his mates, but not doing anything damaging. We've got a few young prospects, and I just want to shout out Wardlaw.
Oh, Wardlaw's a
Rising,
king.
rising star nomination this round. Congratulations, you king. 22 disposals. Very well done.
I wish
Sad
Wardlaw
traps.
would come to the Bombers. I reckon he'd be great as a Bomber.
He'd be great in any team.
He's just so tough.
He's a unit, right?
He's
built
a
like
unit.
a brick shit house.
He's an absolute unit. And what do you reckon Larky combo? Larky had an alright game, didn't he? He kicked a couple.
Like he's turning it up in the middle of the season here. He's kicked a couple of close to bags, but he's putting it through the big sticks. His accuracy is one of the best in the comp. Really can't complain about it. It's just the rest of the team can't get into him cleanly.
Aaron Hall's too focused on how his dreads look on camera, the back of his head, is getting more uncontested possessions than to actually worry about winning the game.
That is very true. But there's some positives to look at. The youth's looking good. Ben Mackay really needs to just be a force in the back line and
I was talking to a
show the
guy.
competition who's boss.
I was talking to a bloke at the station after the Bombers game, and he was recommending that we pick up Ben Mackay in free agency because he will be on free agency next year, and we can afford him, and he should be a Bomber.
I want him to have the best career he can possibly have, and that might not be at North Melbourne. But I'd love it if it was.
And that's the honest truth when you're following something like North, is that you just you care for your players instead of your team at this point. Like you'd want to see dubs, obviously you want to see dubs, but you've been down there long enough that you just get out of this club if you have a future. But please spend it at us if you can. Giants. Speaking of free agency, Himmelberg, I think, is another prospect a lot of people would be looking at. I think he is sick. He can play forward and back, real utility. I would love to see him not at the Giants as a Melbourne club. That's just my Melbourne bias. 15-13. It's a lot of kicking. I think Toby Green had a rip, didn't he? Did he kind of put you in your place?
Both the Greens had a good
one.
Yeah. Tom Green had 26 disposals, low for him. And Toby Green, really turned it on because he was on the fucking opposition side again for being Supercoach. So they all just went off.
Yeah.
My boys Callahan and fucking what's my other boy? Whitfield, they had decent games, but really didn't convert that into any score. So not too happy about that. If anyone wants them, let me know.
Yeah, everyone chop and trade. Yeah, I said I didn't see much of this. I feel like I saw a little bit of it, but I don't know what I was doing instead. I think I was asleep. A big Saturday. But yeah, Giants get the dub. Who do North have next week?
North Melbourne. Who do they have next week? I think they might have.
We can do a very quick tip at the end of the thing because I can just bring up the next slot and I'll read them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. You might. The
We have the
Bombers have a bye.
doggies. We have the, and guess what? We're on Sunday because we're pretty much on Sunday for the rest of the
You're on
season.
Sunday for the rest of the season, yeah.
We've
That's
been
quite funny.
fucking relegated to Sunday or like Saturday morning, and it's just
Yeah.
fucking bullshit. Well, meanwhile, the Pies have the next 5 fucking Fridays. I can't believe it.
Yeah, but then Pies fans would be like, when you mention that, you're like, Walden's like, oh, try being a Pie. It's like, brother, you had 4 Sundays in a row, but you've got like, you don't play Sunday for the rest of the year and we're halfway through the season. Don't fucking talk about it sucks being a Pie. You've just had the King's birthday marquee game, and you have Anzac Day, and you only had 4 Sundays, which has been the only Sundays you've had this season. Anyway, Blues Dons, my boys get the dub. It was a great third quarter. That was it. This is as far as we need to say. Because we kicked fucking like 6 goals in 9 minutes, and it was awesome after like sitting through half a game of footy.
That worm was
How's
immense.
how's the worm? I don't know.
It was steep.
I want to see if I can bring the worm up here real quick. On my hand. The first half of footy sucked. That it was just like I was bored. How's this worm? Look at that. It was a shocking game of first half of footy. The Blues have just been putting up shit. They haven't exceeded 60 points in 5 weeks. It's all about 4 weeks actually. So they
Fucking
haven't
atrocious.
kicked 6 for 16. You've got 2 Coleman medalists and a Brownlow medalist. Give them the medal back. Give the medals back. I don't know. Yeah, so they're copping it a bit hard in the media. I feel a little bit bad for the boys, but
Copping it hard in the media and copping it hard from the fans.
the fans are just that's real. It's a bit stiff because why would you want to go out there and play for this mob the next week when like you get treated like that? It's hard enough for me when Benny yells at me for taking a 3 and I miss it, let alone having an entire 100,000 fan base want me to hang the jumper up. I don't know what they do there. They just they can't sack Foxy.
Mick Moleshouse said it well. They're looking in the rearview
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
The rearview mirror.
Yeah. They're in that mirror and they're not looking forward. And
No, they're
that's
not.
what they need to do. They need to fucking clean up through the centre, deliver to their huge fucking forwards in McKay and Kerno, and actually convert. And until they do that, they are going to continue to be a bottom 4 side. And God, it makes me happy to say that.
yeah, they're bottom 4 now. As for vision in the right direction, that's what the Bombers and Brad Scott have been doing. They've been actually thinking about the present, not the future, not the past, but the present. They look at each game as they're going, and we're getting results. We're sitting at 6th now. We can jump into 4th if we play our cards right. We just can't lose some really easy gimme ones, and we have to wait for the Ds and the Saints to drop off a bit more.
That is a huge call for, but I
reckon 4th it would be a dream, but also maybe because then we'd have to be top 4. Then we'd have to play the Pies, maybe Port.
I was going to say, do you want either of them at home for your first
with a double chance? Yes.
With a double chance, yes. Yeah.
With a double chance, yes. And it's like because we barely lost to the Pies on Anzac Day. The D's just showed that the Pies can bleed, and we have them at the end of the year. So we could beat them at the end of the year in some miracle, and then end up top 4, play in round 1, win the final, break the final drought, go straight to the grand final. What more can you want?
Straight to the prelim.
To the prelim, yeah. Straight to the prelim. Play the winner? I don't even know how this bracket
probably
works.
Port. No, he wouldn't.
Because that'd be Port Brisbane, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll be play Port.
D's or the Saints or something. Oh God.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
I reckon you've got the Saints covered. Now I'm going to go back on what I said before. I think the Bombers can take down the Saints in the finals if push comes to shove.
Yeah, they fucked us up early on, but I think that's when they were strong, and now they're shit. So we'll be right. We can jump over them, and we can beat the D's if it's in Adelaide and it's raining a bit and it's gathered round, and the 2 other games on during the day. No, I think we can beat the D's. We can beat the Saints. We can beat Freo. Crows, I don't know. Maybe we can't beat the Crows, but I think we have to.
Are there any players you want to focus on for the past round for Essendon?
Peter Wright. Peter Wright injection has come back as predicted, a bit earlier. We're going over the ties of the Bombers, but it's my goddamn podcast, so we're going to stay here. Peter Wright for that game kicked 4. I think he kicked 4 straight. I think he kicked 5 in the end. Kicked 4 straight to begin with. 100% disposal rate before the 5th goal. We've been waiting for him to come back, and it's just like, fuck, if we losing him at the start before the season even started, getting the 6th without him, and now having him, and he's slotted perfectly back in. Look out for the Bombers for the rest of the season. I'm fucking excited now that Peter Wright's back in. Nick Marto had a fucking ripper. He's incredible. Who needs Dusty anymore? I mean, I don't know why you would ever, if this situation ever happened to you, Isaac, when you had Nick Martin and someone offered you, or you offered to trade for Dustin Martin, you would never take that deal, would you?
I would take that deal because I'd look, not like Carlton into the past, but I'd look into the future and I'd see Dustin Martin's maybe got 1 year left.
Yeah.
And Nick Martin is going to be a fucking generational star.
He's going to be a generational star. So if you ever had a situation where that Supercoach scenario happened, where you had, maybe get out of the way, come say hello. We're back on the pod. Hello. If you had a situation where you had Dustin Martin and you had some sucker in your Supercoach that had Nick Martin and who was a Tiger supporter, and you could get a trade, I reckon you'd be able to fleece them. And if you did back then, now no chance. No one's dropping Nick Martin. But back then, if you had a chance to do that, then you did it. Then you're an idiot. On to the final game. Oh, what a game this was too. These pies.
My heart rate at the end.
Yeah, when that second last goal, when that last goal of the game went in, I'm like, there's no way they're actually doing this again, are they? 26 seconds left and the clearance went the wrong way. Yeah, I'm glad Spargo got benched. Talking about the D's, I still think the D's aren't all it. Yes, they beat the Pies. That doesn't mean anything. I don't think. Doesn't mean enough to me personally. Kicked 8-18. I don't know how you win a game kicking 8-18. That's equally worth kicking as the Blues, except more. is my tactical analysis.
It's not a great kicking efficiency, but they had that control over the game.
And Pies were panicked.
They came out of the centre through Viney, and Petrarca kind of had an off game. His kicks were kind of helicoptering all over the place.
Track stinks anyway. So that's why Petrarca didn't come out in full force, because they weren't ever winning by 4 goals in any sort of period of time and just be the hero. He had to actually try all game, and that's why he wasn't all that and that, because everything wasn't laid out for him on a silver platter. But the Pies were nervous. Checkers had a shit-ass game. Ash Johnson had a shocking game. I don't know how many thousand multis Ash Johnson dropped for everybody's. I know we killed mine. Mason Cox had a pretty all right game. Dacos brothers had, for their standard, a pretty meh game. Nick was just helicoptering everywhere. Josh Dacos, I think, got about 20 disposals in the end, which is not bad on average, but, big stage. Those two boys ran up the stat sheet a bit too high, in my opinion. But yeah, what do you think? There's a problem with the Pies? Do you think there's any sweat, or it's just sort of that's all right, we lost to the D's?
No sweat at all. To go out, they're looking
Steele fine. Out. They had no Steele side bottom.
And no side ass. They'll be good. He's getting on. He's a bit of that glue to the team, but I don't think that he affects the overall flow of what Collingwood can be. I think DeGoey does a bit. I feel like that brute force he provides does change Collingwood, but you could say the same for Melbourne with Oliver out with a blister.
Oh, yeah, with a blister.
I've never heard of a weaker excuse.
Going out with a blister.
That said, his team got it done. So
yeah,
it was worth the rest.
And yeah, Sparko is a loser. And that's about it. Buys for this week were the Suns and the Cats, because I don't know, they played in Darwin or something the week before. So they're the only
anything to say about the Suns and the Cats? Suns irrelevant.
Suns are irrelevant. Maybe get squeezed into a top 8, which would be good. I think they deserve a top 8. They might be able to squeeze in. The Cats are just Geelong. I don't like them. I don't understand them, and they just be really good and really old when they should be a lot of the time. But yeah, I think the Cats they're like 14th, aren't they?
The
Something
Cats
like
are
that.
ninth. They're
Ninth.
6 and 6 with 118.92 percentage. They've got a decent percentage which could carry them into the top eight,
Yeah,
at the end of the year. But we'll see. I think
yeah. Cats,
that
Freo,
age
Gold
could get to
Coast.
them,
Mm.
but they've got some good players in there. They really do.
Yeah, ninth to 10th, rolling 24 points, and they're one win away from 7 and 8. So that 7 to 11 is pretty good. And luckily, the Tigers are in 12th. I said, Tigers are done. They're not making finals. Swans aren't making finals. No one else on this bottom half is making finals. So it's really a race between, um, I'd say the Crows, Dogs, Cats, Freo, and Gold Coast for a final spot. I think the top six are set. But
See, I
maybe the
I
D's drop
reckon
down.
if I would say one thing different, I don't reckon the Suns can do it. I don't think they can get it done. I think maybe the Swans, if they sharpen up that forward line, they could really, and start playing well.
Mm.
They've got the percentage to make the eight, I reckon. So do the Suns, but I just can't see them doing it.
I'd rather the Suns be there than the Swans. I just reckon the
Oh,
Swans are up the
oh yeah.
seat.
If it was a matter of preference, yes.
We've been lollygagging along for about 35 minutes, so we're going to do a very quick tipping. Something what's like that starts with lightning but with T. Turbo tipping. We got some turbo
Turbo
tipping
tipping.
coming. Turbo tipping here. So all right, let's go. Port Cats. Port.
Yeah, Port are going to continue the streak.
Yep. Lions Swans. Lions.
The Lions just lost to Hawthorn, and it's at the Gabba. I reckon they need to bounce back. I'm going to tip the Lions with you.
Yep. Swans stink. GWS Freo on on the Saturday.
Fuck. I don't think GWS are that odd. I'm going to go with Freo here.
Freo. I think the Giants get up here. Richmond Saints can go either way. I'm going to back the Tigs. I just reckon the Saints haven't got it in them.
I'm going to say one more word about GWS Freo. If Darcy's in, Freo get it done.
Yep.
Tigs Saints. I'm going to go the Sainers.
Saints, yep. I'm
Yeah.
going. I reckon the Tigs will just jump over. Go down to Sunday. Carlton, Gold Coast. I back Gold Coast here. I reckon there's no bounce back factor for the Carlton anymore. They're too far gone. Like the bungee cord snapped. They're just there's no like we've lost this many in a row. Let's show the boys that we mean business. They had that opportunity. They've lost it. So I think the Cats get up. The Suns get up.
Suns get up. Yeah, I reckon I'm going to go the opposite. I'm thinking Carlton, like their team looks so fantastic on paper, and like if they can't turn it around on this game, I think it might be fucking real bad for the rest of the season. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna hope that they can turn it around. I'm gonna go Carlton.
There was actually it's whether it was Stan Radio or something like that, but someone said that this was the only other tick they had this season. They were gonna win against the Gold Coast, and that's it for the rest of the year. So if they lose this one, it's bottoms out. Don't tip them for the rest of the year. North doggies, North sports bet reckon that North have a $4.70 chance of winning. Do you reckon they can take them out of Marvel Sunday night?
The Dogs team is so much better than the North team. I think we're gonna get an upset here. We're gonna have a big ruse win. Wardlaw gets 25 plus disposals. Sheasel gets 30.
Larky
Larky
kicks
kicks
7.
six.
Yeah,
Yeah,
6 or 7.
6 or 7. Yep. And Zeeble racks up 30 off the half back line.
Yeah.
Just running it out of the points because I think the doggies aren't going to kick straight enough, and it's going to hurt them.
I would love a North win. I think for the sake of content, I'm picking the Dogs, but in my work typically, I will be picking the Dogs. No, so the North for the content, I want North to get up. But I my work tipping leagues, I need the points. I will be going with the Dogs, and then the buys, Crows, Pies, Hawks, Dons, Melbourne, Weagles. So no one gets a free tip against the Weagles this week. And that's it. Any final thoughts for our debut of the reset of I don't know where to put my camera now. I'll just put it back like this.
No, I
Um,
pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. I think Blakey was hard done by. I think Butler should have got a week at least, if not two. You can't be slamming players' heads on the ground no matter what. Doesn't matter
Game's
if you
dead.
come from behind. Game is not dead. Text kick 10. Dogs are in trouble. Hawks back in business. And Wardlaw got the rising star nom. And I just wanted to, give my boy a shout out.
Yep. Cool. Alrighty. Well, yeah, we're wrapping up in 40 minutes here, coast to coast. So hope the attention stuck by the fans. Let us know how it goes in the chats. What we need to change. And we'll boot this up next week. I'll try to do a bit more editing here and there with the thing. As I said, I've loved what I've done with the post, and until Lloydie comes from my head with the cease and desist, I will be keeping this format. I just might change how the editing looks and see how we can squeeze you into this in a live capacity. But the audio might work.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say this thing before you close it up. Thanks for having us, and hopefully, you'll have me back eventually.
Yep. As I said, and also lastly, mailbag is coming. I haven't forgotten. I will do the mailbag at some point. Maybe a weekend release, depending on how my week goes. Mailbag's coming. All right, catch you later. See ya. Sayonara. See yous. I don't know what your closing remark is. Bye.